Salutations, respected viewers. This is George from Ireland. In this video, I'm going to be outlining my belief that euthanasia ought to be legally permitted. I'm talking about in the Republic of Ireland and the United Kingdom. I'm making these suggestions for countries of which I'm a citizen, not for anywhere else. So there is the Swiss model. In Switzerland, this is permitted, and foreigners who can go to Switzerland to the Dignitas clinic to have this happen. Well, what would be my conditions for allowing euthanasia? Incidentally, it's worth reminding ourselves of what euthanasia actually means. Oithanos, as in good death in ancient Greek. So if somebody is terminally ill and experiencing unbearable agony, should that person be permitted to foreshorten their life? And I would argue that he or she should. I can't remember who said that it's leaving the stage of life at a time of his or her own choosing. Was it Voltaire? Maybe it was an ancient Roman writer. Sometimes palliative care is not working. So, as I say, I would only allow this for the people who are terminally ill. Trouble is, what's terminally ill? We're all terminally ill in a sense, because since we're all going to die. You don't have to be suffering from some sort of inoperable cancer or things like that. I'm not a doctor, so doctors would have to drop a list of conditions which count as this. Have to be gone to a fairly fast stage, like cancers are 4 stages, maybe stage 4 cancer. There might be stage 1 cancer if they already know it's incurable. Well, that's not good enough. You still have several years to live. And some way of assessing how effectual the palliation is in terms of the whatever they're giving them, morphine, that's really not working. And there's really no hope of remission. What is no hope? A 1% chance? A 0.1% chance? We could quibble over the definition of this. Obviously, signed off by 2 or more experts in the field. And I know these things are not that clear-cut. Turk Abdul Bahad al-Magrahi, the man convicted of the Lockerbie bombing, and he was released from prison in the United Kingdom in 2009 on the basis he had fewer than 3 months remaining to live. In fact, he lived for 2.5 years. His oncologist had refused to sign that certificate, estimating his lifespan at a further 3 months. So I realise these things are difficult to estimate. But anyway, at least 2 doctors do it, obviously for adults only. We might say more than adult. It might have to be over 40 or over 60 or something of that nature. The trouble is there are some people who are 18 who are terminally ill, who are suffering. Are we denying this to the right? Maybe we are. But certainly there'd have to be a high age, which would be at least adulthood. There'd have to be a legal agreement. They sign this with solicitors. It'd have to be quite a process. You can't decide I want to die and die that day. It's got to take at least a few months so we're absolutely certain you've got many chances to change your mind. The doctors have thrown everything in the kitchen sink at you. You must make your will. That could be it. Consult with your family and so forth. Psychiatric evaluation by at least 2 psychiatrists saying, yes, this person is compos mentis. Moreover, this person would have to be of reasonable intelligence. No, they don't have to be an academic, but they can't be seriously subnormal, such as a Down syndrome person or a person who effectively couldn't understand the concept of death. At the moment in the United Kingdom, if somebody is going to Dignitas and his or her spouse pushes the wheelchair onto the plane, the spouse might fear that they'll be prosecuted when they come back to the United Kingdom, and they speak to the police about what they intend to do. The police say, well, we can't guarantee that we won't prosecute you for murder. That's it. So some sort of assistance in bringing their life to an end in a pain-free manner. Australians have gone to Switzerland to do this kind of thing. Likewise, it goes on in the Netherlands. I'm aware of the slippery slope of people feeling pressurized to terminate their lives because they're a financial or other burden to their family, or they're just too depressed or things like that, which have got to have very strict criteria. It is quite worrying. Although I'm broadly pro-life with relation to termination of pregnancy, not with regard to adults who are of reasonable intelligence, who are mentally healthy, just who are suffering most unbearable pain, and there's nothing left. Why should we force them to continue their lives? Whose life is it anyway? There's a play with that name. So that's my view. It's a decision I would hope I would never have to arrive at, or any member of my family. I realise this could cause less heartache than seeing someone suffering avoidably for a long period of time, because medicine has advanced to such a stage that we can extend longevity, even of those who are experiencing the most unbearable pain. So we could find pain-free ways to end their lives. Ideally, they could do it themselves, taking whatever noxious substances it is, but sometimes they're paralyzed or not capable of doing so and would have to be given an injection. There could be 1 injection, then a 2nd injection to just to draw their lives peacefully to a close. So that's my view. What's yours? Am I wrong? I perceive there are pitfalls. It could go wrong, and there are scare stories about how badly it's gone wrong in the Netherlands. So perhaps I'm mistaken. I'm open to persuasion.